Welcome to the Aim High podcast, powered by Nimbler.
Hi, and welcome to the first episode of our Aim High podcast, where we will be talking about everything workplace related. My name is Anna Andrade, and with me I have Miguel Gomes, CEO at Nimbler Spaces. Hi.
Hello, thank you for having me.
You're welcome. So Nimbler Spaces is a co-working company. Tell me a little bit about how that works and how everything has shifted since COVID, because I feel like I've heard a lot about co-working, but I feel like the definition of what co-working is somewhat distorted, maybe.
I guess you're right. So the first thing I would like to say is Nimbler is not a co-working space. We are a flex office space promoter or service provider, let's say. Okay, so within the co-working definition, you always think you are sharing your workspace. At Nimbler, you can define how you prefer to work. If it's in a shared space, like what we have in mind when we talk about co-working spaces, so the open space, fully open, sharing the space with other companies and other professionals. At Nimbler, you can decide to work in a shared environment, in a dedicated floor where your brand really bright. But you define the workspace definition, let's say. Okay. So
Because I feel before getting to know Nimbler a little bit better, that's the idea I had of co-working, was that, you know, it's a place full of desks and everyone is working sort of like an open space, and you're working side by side with people maybe you don't know, or maybe you already know them via you know, the workplace you're working at. But with Nimbler, I've gotten to know that it goes beyond this. So there's like a culture, there's a community that is built, right?
yeah, so the community came also with the co-working definition, but right now at Nimbler, we got community with freedom. So yes, we share moments, we share even skills, we share all our network at Nimbler, but whenever you need to be focused on your job or sharing something with your clients in a more quiet and private space, you can have it. If you want to be in a very enjoyable moment with other professionals that perhaps could add something to your journey, yes, Nimbler is the right place to go, because you can have the happy hours, you can have the weekly brunches, even the yoga sessions. So you can enjoy the moments in community whenever you want, which is different than the co-working definition you gave from the past, that basically it was mandatory to belong to the community. So at Nimbler, you define whenever you want to belong to that community.
And how did this concept sort of, is this something that happens within, you know, the flexible office and co-working space industry? Or is it something like Nimbler specific that you built and that you created?
I guess that at Nimbler, we give more freedom in that sense. But I guess that even COVID, of course, helped a lot to that shift. But basically, it was the work environment shift. Okay, so you don't work like our parents did.
We're working from home, like.
Correct, but that's the nice part of the freedom within the work environment, right? So sometimes myself, I work at home. But I know when I need to collaborate. And the spaces right now, what Nimbler tried to do in that sense was, okay, so we are not just a community, we try to sell an experience. So we try to engage people in a work experience. It needs to be different to work from the office space than working from home. Okay, so we just learned that what we did at work was too many individual tasks. So why would you need to commute from home to the office and lost 2 hours in the traffic, right? So what we said was, okay, but we are, let's say, social animals, right? So we really need to collaborate. We really need to.
And I think we're losing that a little bit with so many people working from home.
I would say not at Nimbler.
Yeah, well, exactly. But I feel like, you know, a lot of companies, especially after COVID, obviously, started working a lot from home. Some do hybrids, but I feel like mostly people are still working remotely, and that's the one part I feel like is being lost. I think people are maybe really missing this connection, because when you're working from home and you're living from home and when everything happens at home, I think you lose this sense of being in a society and belonging. So that's really nice.
I guess that each company has a different culture. What I guess you may be right is with COVID, a lot of companies just decided at once to cut the link between the culture and the office space. Okay, so the culture that we were talking about all across those last years about creating culture within the company, try the sense of belonging from the staff members to the culture and the organization. But the reality now is that it is true that each organization is different. And perhaps there are few companies and few sectors that can allow the staff to work remotely, like in full. But I truly believe that most of the companies today need to collaborate more. And if they don't need, and that's a reality, if they don't need to work from 9 to 5 every single day of the week from the office space, the truth is they need to come weekly or monthly to the shared space. I mean, not the co-working space, so share the common space to their company, to collaborate, to see each other, to see that they really belong to the same cause. Okay, and the fact of joining everyone to get everything together, everyone together. In the same space, doing the same things, having the same interests, and sharing experience that you don't share throughout Teams or Zoom or whatever. You really do that in person, as we are now here. It really adds something to the company and to the staff members. So at Nimbler, we decided that we have to have an experience of workspace that could be something to
Enticing,
add.
maybe.
More than that, I guess it needs to really contrast with the work that you do from home. So you need an incentive to go by bus or by train for an hour to go to the office space, right?
So somewhere you actually want to go.
Correct.
Yeah,
That's it.
That's actually amazing, because especially with there's a lot of talk about well-being, especially in the workplace. And I mean, maybe there's other ways for people to, or for companies to showcase their culture, but I think it's only when you're physically in the same place as everyone else, like that's where you can feel the culture of a company. So when you don't have that, I feel like that gets a little bit lost in translation, maybe. And that's where a lot of communication gets lost within a company. So it's amazing that you can have a place where people actually want to go and actually want to experience this when it's maybe so lost after COVID.
I guess that we are not especially unique on that. We're just attentive to what the market showed. If you remember, before COVID, you had the general culture trend, right? So everything was about the company culture. Right now is about the individual's culture. So you have to motivate your staff members, each of them, to go to the office space. And
that's really interesting.
I'm not a yoga fan, but I understand that most of the people today that cares about well-being and the relation between work and personal life and that balance and the well-being all around that trend, they really need that, and they motivate themselves, because at the office space, someone can be Nimbler or even the employer, or together, both of them. They really care about their individual
little
interests,
things, yeah.
right? So
I love yoga. Is it okay if I join Nimbler?
we had yesterday one of the sessions in Miami with a great bay view.
Oh, well, not to Miami, because we're in Lisbon at the moment.
Okay, but in Lisbon you have the castle view and the river view.
That's maybe better.
So you are invited.
Well, thank you very much. So this pod is called obviously Aim High, and it's got to do with your motto, sort of being aim high. Tell me a little bit about that.
I guess that we define Nimbler by an experience, as I told you. Aim high is a big part of that. So we just passed the times where companies and staff fought against each other based on different interests. So what we say is, okay, at Nimbler, both of them, they can grow together and they
Right.
can grow up to wherever they need.
So you're like a partner, maybe, to your clients. You're helping them.
We call
towards a
ourselves
goal.
like a booster.
Oh,
You know?
that's okay.
So the idea is
Yeah.
to boost their ideas, their creativity, their network, basically boost their ideas and projects, making them greater than before.
And providing a safe environment for that to happen as well.
I would say that is more than safe. It's higher than safe.
That's amazing. And also your so I've been to Nimbler places, I've visited your places, and I found them like literally so nice. And I noticed that there's like everything is the interior design, the aesthetics, everything is thought out, isn't it?
We believe so, and we we really
We'd like to think so.
no, yeah, and more than that, it's a collective work. So it's not about our internal architect Pedro, for example, that simply draw the spaces and we approve. It's not about that. So at Nimbler, even if we compare with other major service providers, we said that we enjoy the experience of building out something. So we try to open a new space based on the ideas of our workspace design team. Even the finance team enjoys to give some ideas, because by the end of the day, we are the workers that are going to work from the spaces. So we understand the same as you as worker or another person that is a web designer. So we understand the same needs, right? And we are individuals who work. That's our target, right? So we try to add something from our own personal perspective to the space. That's why, for example, in Lisbon, I proposed the Piaggio, like to be our coffee corner.
The
Yeah, the
motorcycle.
motto. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a really nice idea.
That's why, for example, we have our logos never in a context of basically showing up and showing off
Advertising, yeah.
every single time. So whenever you step in Nimbler, what you find is a nice experience, a nice environment, but we don't put our brand
So it's
on
sort
top
of like
you.
you're not stepping into someone else's workplace. You're
Correct.
stepping into your own workplace.
Yeah, you basically you breathe your own oxygen. You don't breathe your
It's
others.
amazing how how it's all thought out, because that's something I wouldn't have remembered. But that's the feeling I got when I went into Nimbler. It's not that I was stepping into somewhere else. It's that I was a part of something, or I was joining. It was very, very exciting to be joining a place where there's loads of people, where there's different companies, different cultures. And like you said, because there isn't that promotion of, this is Nimbler, you don't feel like an outsider. So, and it's nice to know that that's all intentional.
No, it is. We said that to be the right experience to enjoy, you have to not only feel part of it, but you have to feel that you are one of the parts of that. And if we would paste our logo everywhere, if we concept and design the space as only a Nimbler space, not the Nimbler spaces, we definitely would have our own headquarters. And we are not inviting you to be working from our headquarters. We want to share the space with you. We want to having us sharing the same space where both of the cultures, either our members and ours, could basically live together.
Is that, would you say that that's your key differentiator versus other players in the market?
Sure, and even in services, we, for example, free of charge, we provide full customization of dedicated floors, for example. When I say this, I'm not talking about just painting a wall. I'm talking about changing the flooring, the ceiling, number of
Okay,
meeting rooms.
we're gonna have to get into this now, because you told me once, and
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna have to hire you for some other stuff. You told me you can do a whole office or a whole building, was it? In how many months?
Oh, that depends. Okay, don't put me myself in such a position. Okay, so we try to hire our own special teams. Let's say, depending on the market. Okay, so for example, our tailor-made office in Barcelona has about 11,000 square feet. So for the European guys, I would say 1,100 square meters.
Okay, so that's
Yeah, it's about 100 people.
yeah, that's big. Yeah.
We did that in 45 days. Okay, so
See, because I
the
remodeled my
scratch.
apartment, and not half as big as that place.
we are
And
agile.
yeah, it
But
took
now
me a
you
long
can
time,
Hey
and it's really hard to manage a construction site. I mean,
Okay, so we set at a serviced office provider, despite whatever other players said once. We are not an IT company, okay? So we are a real estate company, but more than that, we join what is the office, the concrete, the walls. More than that, we provide services. So we
provide
have
the
to
walls,
manage
you provide the
the
furniture,
environment.
the experience, the environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what we say is, okay, we have to be great in service and great in infrastructure. So in what regards to infrastructure, we try to hire only the HVAC team and the IT team instead of just hiring a general contractor, for example, which make us our life easier. Um, because we try to use the same contractors every single time we try to do our works, and that doesn't matter if it's in Barcelona, in Lisbon, in Miami, or in Chicago. And of course, we have different relationships with those contractors. Then the common of our service provider competitors that basically use the first one
That comes
that comes
across.
up.
Yeah, I mean, I guess this way you also can have some consistency.
It's all about relationships.
Right.
That's it.
We
It's
again,
all about
yeah,
people.
about connections.
Correct.
As well. And how important is locations for this sort of industry? Because I know you have premium locations
Correct. And affordable prices.
and
So-
but that's how do you relate those? Because
guess that-
I'd think that when you're in such a location as Nimbler is, that it would be very expensive to to hire offices in such places.
we try to give to our customers what they really need. Okay, it's not about fancy things. Okay, so we don't have almond milk, we don't have soy milk, but coffee is needed, right? So coffee is free of charge, but in that way we didn't spend much money in other type of snacks and beverages and whatever you don't need. Okay, we said that customization is part of our job because, okay, when I say almond milk we don't have, it doesn't mean that I cannot provide you, but I don't have to ask all my tenants, all my members to
be
pay
paying-
for it.
Well, that makes sense. So
Okay.
you simplified basically.
Basically, yes. Keep
Yeah.
it simple, right? So what we do is we define the prime locations of each city. So if you recall, in Lisbon we are pretty much in the city center, nearby Marquês de Pombal. In Miami we have bay views at Biscayne Boulevard, with access to the Kaseya Center where NBA plays. So Chicago, we are just in front to Trump Tower and 1 minute away from the Riverwalk. So we try to be in the premium locations that define us. But by the end of the day, what we say is, okay, we don't go for IKEA, but we don't need very expensive
You're not
Herman
going to give
Miller
you golden
chairs,
seats, yeah.
right? So the point here is, what do you need to run your business? How can I boost your business without distractions? And price usually is a distraction, right?
Yeah.
So what we say is, let's keep it simple. Design, workspace environment, experience, that's it in the best location possible. And we try to deliver such a service.
It sounds like such a simple concept, doesn't it? But I think sometimes this gets a little bit forgotten, and companies, they just complicate so much. And I do hate it when whichever service it is, when I'm looking for something and I feel like companies want to give me so much to justify a price. I'm like, no, but that's not really what I need.
No, that's true. If you remember what happened before COVID, every startup could have like a lot of money from venture capitals, Series A, B, C, whatever. After COVID, it is not like that. So even the tech companies that are the big part of our market, because usually they grow fast and they need a service operator that could be agile like us, to ask them for 1 year, 2 years, at least until they understand that the serviced office concept is the concept that really prevails by the end of the day against the traditional office market. Just saying. What we have is, after COVID, they needed to be more rational on the expenses. Okay, and office space can be really expensive. Okay, so what we said is, okay, so we are not giving you the whole catering, the whole luxury service that the co-working market basically could start um, to use you to get you used to such a tradition of luxury, because basically co-working spaces started to give you a lot of things, like one price list and at the same time 10 pages of amenities. We said, okay, let's basically shrink down that list, giving you whatever you really need, and every other else is apart. But you can decide what really matters for you.
But I mean, you still include events, and you still do a lot of social, maybe gatherings. I'm guessing as a way to also help build the connections, of your customers and your members. But that's included, so it's affordable. But you still get, these really important, and maybe that's it. Instead of you're paying this money and you're getting almond milk, no. But we can give you like real connections, and we can help. There's this event, or there's this gathering, or we're gonna do something really special, and that you can be a part of.
Honestly, what costs money to a service provider is the location. Okay, all the rest, and the design, of course, the capex. So all the rest is about people. So an event, okay, we can spend few dollars in beers or wines and cheeses and this kind of snacks, but by the end of the day is more about the time, the people engagement on that, then specifically. So we don't hire events management services, right? So what we do is we do our own event. We prepare everything with all care.
And it's also probably more valued by the customers as well.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, and that doesn't cost money. So what we say is, let's keep it simple. We spend money in the location, in the design, and the utilities. All the rest is all about love and caring.
And with working with alongside so many companies and different people, is there any funny story that you've witnessed within Nimbler?
Like what?
I'm not sure. Funny things happen in workplaces sometimes.
Okay, so
I feel like there's a story coming.
no, go on. What can I say? So we have different type of companies. Okay, since the let's say the marketeer, for example, in Miami that works alone. When I say alone, is a part of their company, and right now she's not alone because she works at Nimbler and she works with us. Up to companies that rely on Nimbler to host 175 people in the office space. So there are different type of companies who work at Nimbler. For example, we have a client in Miami, for example, an insurance company that decided to celebrate the Women's Day with how do we call the Mexican, you know those Mexican singers, the typical ones,
mariachi.
mariachis.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you can imagine at 2 p.m. with no pre-notice, we just got 7 mariachis just stepping in Nimbler,
But that's sort of
Miami.
awesome, isn't it, though? Let's face it.
That's
I
a
would love
concert,
to have
a
a
live
mariachi
concert.
band right in the middle of my day.
Yes.
Okay, before we close this off, I just want to read you a quote from one of your partners. He said, "Working with Nimbler is without a doubt a relief for us. Knowing the flex and service offices market, which is very competitive and with many providers in the market, it's not easy for us as a real estate consultant to recommend this or the other. And we know that what we are counting on when we recommend Nimbler. Undoubtedly one of the best co-working operators in Portugal due to their structure, professionalism, and above all, I would say due to their proximity with customers." That's a big quote. That's something I think to hear from a partner.
And it is not a simple partner. Okay, so you quoted one of our biggest partners, Savills, which is a international consultant real estate consultant firm, which is headquartered in London and has branches everywhere in
All
the
over,
world.
yeah.
This is about relationships, I told you, right? So when we say we are a service provider, we are an experience provider. And part of that experience is connecting people. And when I say connecting people, I'm not just quoting anything else. You know, I'm really stating that what really matters at Nimbler is we listen to clients, understand their needs, and understand their philosophies. Okay, what they really care about the work environment, and listening that we can ensure a good service is not because it's a good standard service, it's a good service for them. It doesn't mean that we don't have problems in HVAC or internet. Of course, we are a serviced office provider, and at offices you have these kind of problems. But by the end of the day, they trust and they rely on us to solve those issues by the hour. Okay, and perhaps that's the difference. So we customize the spaces, the experience as well, and they can rely on us.
You're
They,
their ultimate solution, basically.
I would say we are the first solution. And that's different than the ultimate one.
So is there anything that you'd like to say to our audience today about Nimbler, the future of Nimbler, what we can wait from Nimbler?
Quoting that we aim high is not just a quote. Okay, we really aim high, and we'll prove that sooner than later. So we hopefully have a new location across this year. We hopefully will grow in the United States as well, in the 2 spaces where we are based. And our team is growing. Our tenant base is also growing. And we invite everyone to join Nimbler and change the experience with us.
Am I invited to your Miami offices?
Wherever.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much for coming today. And thank you for watching till the end. And thank you for listening. And please stay tuned for more episodes of the Aim High podcast. Bye.
Bye.